Welcome back to week 2 of the Holistic Wellness Program. Today's topic we're going to discuss is how our blood type influences our diet. Now, in the first week, we revealed that since the Genesis, the body on a cellular level is calibrated to exist perpetually. That as long as it's given the proper sustenance within the right environment, it possesses the potential to be immortal. And we explained how our cells are programmed to take the basic elements of our environment and use them to stimulate and generate energy for the body, as long as we respond in harmony with the natural cycles of the earth. Those basic cycles being governed by day and night. But those responses are dictated by our intellect. They're dictated by our decision making from day to day, and how the choices we make determine the potential for us to activate this immortal gene in our DNA. So in today's session, we're going to begin discussing the role our blood type plays in the function of our immune system and how that function influences homeostasis on a cellular level, starting with our blood. So the earliest insight we get to the importance of blood is in the book of Genesis, where it states, "But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For the image of God made he man." So in these verses, we get the understanding of how important blood is to the Creator, in that the life of an individual stems from the blood, that the blood was considered sacred, and that man was not meant to shed the blood or kill another person. We also get another insight into the power of the blood in the book of Leviticus in chapter 17, where it states, "For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for your soul." So in ancient times, when this instruction to sacrifice an animal in order to take away the sins of the people was given to the children of Israel, they were offered the understanding that it was the blood of the animal that was taken to sacrifice specifically. Now, that blood is the most important element in the body. And once again, the essence of our life resides in the blood. Now, it's the blood that houses the instruction that influences how the rest of the body should function and holds the key that determines the overall health and well-being of an individual. Now, let's break down the composition of blood so we can understand exactly what it is and how it functions. So blood is a fluid in humans and other animals that delivers nutrients and oxygen to our cells. In vertebrates, it's composed of red blood cells called erythrocytes, white blood cells called uricosites, platelets, and blood plasma. Plasma makes up the total volume of blood fluid, about 55%, most of which is water that contains glucose, hormones, proteins, mineral ions, and carbon dioxide. The red blood cells transport oxygen to your body's organs and tissues. White blood cells are a part of your body's immune system and helps your body to fight off infections. Platelets are tiny molecules that stick together and form blood clots on bleeding wounds. All three cell types are formed in the bone marrow, which is a soft tissue inside our bones. Now, we're going to read an excerpt from Stephen Bunner's book, The Secret Teachings of Plants, where he gives an insight into the living properties of blood. Modern analysis of the heart has shown that in spite of the fact that the most powerful ventricle of the heart can shoot water 6 feet into the air, the amount of pressure actually needed to force the blood through the entire length of the body's blood vessels would have to be able to lift a 100-pound weight 1 mile high. The heart is simply incapable of producing the pressure actually needed to circulate the blood. The heart is, in reality, not the pump of the circulatory system, but plays a much more subtle and elegant role. For the heart does not pump the blood. The blood, counterintuitively, moves of its own accord. And the blood does not flow like water through a hose. It is not a simple stream flowing through a tube, but instead is something much more elegant. Blood flow through embryo vessels is instead composed of two streams, and these two streams spiral around one another in the direction of the flow. Nor do these streams flow at a regular rate. Their rates together and separately vary, sometimes significantly. At the center of these spiraling streams, there is nothing, a vacuum. In fact, blood flow through living vessels is much more like a tornado than anything else. It is a vortex circling around a vacuum center. So he writes that the amount of pressure created by the heart alone is not enough to pump our blood to every organ of the body, but rather the force generated by the motion of blood itself causes the movement through the circulatory system, that it seems to move of its own accord. And it does so by generating a vortex effect created by multiple streams of pressure, similar to that of a tornado being created in the presence of temperature differential from hot and cold combining. Now, the pressure that is measured as blood pressure does not come from the heart's pumping pressure, but instead is a natural result of the movement of the spiraling vacuum-centered blood itself.